With this WrestleTalk news, Bray Wyatt now a free agent, ROH for sale, WWE pull Charlotte Flair, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on, not just for daily wrestling news videos, but because this is my celebration video. After a grueling 3-month tournament, the results are in. I am your fantasy booking warfare champion. I'll start it for you right now to write in the comments, thank you, Oli, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. Thank you, Oli, clap. Clap, 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 clap. Stick around for more me celebrating being the best at fantasy booking in all of wrestling YouTube at the end of this video.
Support WrestleTalk!
Happy Bray Wyatt Free Agent of Chaos Day, everybody! WWE released one of their most popular, ingeniously creative, and highest merch-selling stars 90 days ago today. Meaning, as of right now, Bray Wyatt is free to show up and wrestle for any other promotion. This also means Bray Wyatt as a character is finished, so long live his new name, Meta, a social technology company. Wait, no, sorry, that's for another evil mind control gimmick. He has now reverted to his given name, Windham Rotunda, changing his Twitter handle from @WWE Bray Wyatt to @Windham6. Screw you, @Windhams 1 through to 5. Do the right thing and give Rotunda your Twitter handle. Apparently, Windham kept his WWE Twitter handle throughout his 90-day non-compete clause so he could keep his Twitter verification through the transition process, just as Bryan Danielson did. He's gone under @TheWindham Rotunda on Instagram for several years already. This most likely refutes some fan theories that Wyatt's WWE release was all just a storyline. Although one person still clung to the idea, replying to Windham's 2 more days countdown tweet, Fiend, come back in WWE and challenge Roman Reigns for Universal Championship at Survivor Series? To which Windham replied with a gif of Brad Pitt's Troy asking, is there no one else? Windham versus Danhausen confirmed. Unless the AEW audience is the most well-behaved crowd ever, we won't be seeing Windham's debut on tonight's episode of Rampage, which was taped after Wednesday's episode of Dynamite. And no spoilers have come out. Although they could have filmed a debut vignette that could be inserted into the broadcast without happening live. Tony Khan has said he's interested in talking with Rotunda, but claims not to have had any discussions thus far. What we do know for sure is that Windham has been on the Warner Brothers studio lot in California, being spotted in a tweet from special makeup effects artist Jason Barker in his tweet. Just another day at the office with Meta, a social technology company. Barker's effects studio, along with Tom Savini's, were responsible for the Fiend's mask and props in WWE. This could be them developing their latest horrifying wrestling gimmick, or it could be Windham exploring acting roles in Hollywood, as there was reportedly interest from several projects before he left WWE. If you haven't seen them yet, I really recommend watching Laurie's excellent The Fiend Explained trilogy on Parts Unknown, where he dives into how the character was created and all its connections to the larger Wyatt-verse. Then you too can say, I recognise that reference when Windham cuts his first promo wherever it is. But with Rotunda becoming a free agent, Andrew Zarian has revealed some more information on his WWE release. Practically every person fired by WWE over the last 2 years has been given the same explanation: budget cuts. From a company that's consistently posted record profits. But in a ruthless business way, that does make sense. They hoarded talent to keep wrestlers away from AEW and paid them inflated contracts. This was a course correction on that strategy. The idea falls down, however, when that's the same reason you give Bray Wyatt, who was one of the company's top merchandise sellers. There have been numerous reports since Windham's release on his hot and cold relationship with Vince McMahon and being protective over his character. And now Andrew Zarian has definitively denied the official explanation. There was no one cause for Wyatt's release, and if the narrative that this guy, this highly popular, creative performer was released due to budget cuts, I'm very confident to tell you that is utter bullshit. Zarian continued, saying there was no one cause for Windham's release, and that there were numerous reasons. But speaking behind the scenes to wrestling journalists, he admitted almost every person has heard a different thing. Come on, Surprise Talk is Jericho Shoot Interview Podcast, you're our only hope. Do you think Windham Rotunda will show up somewhere imminently? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to as many people as I can for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live. Blah! From out of nowhere. One place Rotunda won't be showing up at anytime soon, unfortunately, is Ring of Honor. On Wednesday, ROH announced that they would be going on a hiatus after December's Final Battle pay-per-view to reimagine the promotion, to return with April's Supercard of Honor show. Immediately after, it came out that ROH had released every wrestler under contract with them, showing that the word honor isn't just in the title, though the company will pay everyone through the end of the year, and for those with longer contracts, up until March 2022. It's a tragic tale for the distinguished promotion who went above and beyond for their talent during the pandemic, more than any other in the world along with New Japan, yet it is those two promotions who have suffered the most business-wise. Doing the right thing, unfortunately, is pretty costly. Dave Meltzer is now reporting what this reimagining of the product will look like come April, describing ROH's plan to operate as an independent promotion which doesn't hold long-term contracts with its talent. Instead, wrestlers will be brought in on a per-date basis, only paying them when they're needed for shows or tapings, similar to how PWG and GCW work. While this strategy makes ROH a far more financially flexible company, it also creates a significant amount of obstacles. If you don't have agreements with talent, long-term booking becomes almost impossible, especially for a promotion like ROH, whose wrestlers are frequently poached by WWE or AEW. How can you trust putting a world title on someone when they could get signed exclusively by WWE at any moment? This approach does not exude long-term confidence in ROH, and a new report puts its future even more in doubt. Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso writes the ROH tape library is also available and will go to the highest bidder. And they've actually been privately trying to move the library, the Sinclair-owned archive from 2012 onwards, for more than a year, implying plans to reimagine ROH have been in place since the early days of the pandemic. While that sounds cynical, I think they have conducted themselves with, well, honor, still protecting and paying talent for all that time, knowing that ROH as we know it was coming to an end anyway. And also, ROH to AEW confirmed? Barrasso adds that ROH is asking much more than the current market dictates for their library, which dates back to 2012. They note that WWE were once a major pursuer of the content, but that might have changed now so many former ROH stars have left WWE. But it makes a lot of sense for those stars' new home, AEW, because ROH's tape library doesn't just include years of excellent matches with a lot of current AEW stars. It also includes the 2018 pay-per-view All In, the event that birthed All Elite Wrestling. Tony Khan said in an interview earlier this month he's focused on building up AEW's content library to make them more valuable for a streaming platform deal, similar to WWE's $1 billion move to Peacock. The quickest way to increase your own content library, other than making more versions of AEW Dark, is to just buy 9 years of shows from elsewhere. And hell, if the actual ROH brand and IP is also on the table, Khan should seriously consider making a play for that too. With that legacy and arguably the best track record in recent times of fostering new stars, a restarted, properly funded ROH could be AEW's NXT, rather than just NXT being AEW's NXT. Barrasso notes it all could have been so different. Back in 2018, ROH had the chance to make the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes a respectful offer, where it's thought they might never have left. But Sports Illustrated sources blamed the end of the company is the result of mismanagement from the top. ROH could have become what AEW is now. While that sounds like a no-brainer in hindsight, the idea of a new promotion challenging WWE was a pipe dream in 2018, and I think to say otherwise underestimates what a risk Tony Khan took. Over in WWE, Sean Ross Sapp has revealed the company has pulled Charlotte Flair from her planned media interviews this week, following the incident on last Friday's SmackDown where she went off script and threw her title on the floor rather than handing it over to Becky Lynch. This caused a heated confrontation between the two backstage and reportedly led to Flair being escorted out by security. Tonight's SmackDown will be really interesting to see how she's presented on screen and whether any of the last week is used for storyline material. Okay, cool, that's all the wrestling news out the way. Go away, major backstage gossip. I've got a victory to celebrate. Get in here, other Olis, because Oli is the best. Oli is #1. Let's relive my journey through the inaugural fantasy booking warfare tournament since August. I squashed Alex Queen of the Ring booking Bryan Danielson's debut in AEW with 77%. Oh, I annihilated Luke Owen in the semis, sorry buddy, with Kurt Angle's retirement at 80%. And now I can officially unveil the final percentage for the me versus Laurie Blake final. But we had to fantasy book the best AEW versus WWE supercard, which the SWAF Nation voted for this guy, 78%. I just Goldberged my way through an entire tournament. It wasn't even close. And it shows I am the best at fantasy booking on all of you.
Well done, Oli. You've beaten Laurie. You are now the fantasy booking warfare champion. Now you might be wondering, what has that earned you? Has it earned you a trophy? Has it earned you a cash prize? Absolutely not. It's earned you the chance for redemption. Because it's story time with Adam Blompier, baby. Let me take you back to my first day in WrestleTalk, where I walked onto Fantasy Booking Warfare and I booked against you the Royal Rumble 2020. And how did you do, Oli? How did you do? Not too well. So I'm giving you the chance to redeem yourself. You've won the chance to book against me twice in a lifetime.
And the end of the movie, he's going to go through some trans-dimensional warp, and he's going to end up in another universe where there is no real-life Buzz Lightyear, but there are Buzz Lightyear action figures, and he is an action figure, which is why he's like, but guys, I'm not a toy, I'm actually Buzz Lightyear.
It brings a horrifying edge to the Toy Story quadrilogy we grew up on.
Yeah.